Right. Rugby. All Blacks. France. Game number 2. How's everybody doing? I'm here with the whiteboard. New Zealand national anthem is currently underway. They've just sung the French one. I was watching Wales up against Japan, but there's a bit of overlap, so I have to watch the second half of that match a bit later. But, yeah, let me just adjust this. So people can follow along with the score and the time once kickoff gets underway. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Do we have predictions for this week? I feel like last week was a little bit closer than expected. Jimmy's here. Yes, Bodie's got a heap more caps than the entire French team. Rooney, how's it going, man? Frankie. Yeah, bro, the Wellington factor is not good. Not good. No, I didn't see the Black Ferns against Australia, Jimmy, because I was watching Scotland, Fiji, and then Wales, Japan. Goodness me. Alaran, man, how's it going? Yeah, D-Max got the same amount of caps. It was 60 odd, wasn't it? A lot of these French guys are pretty light on caps. Jezza, do you have a park run planned today, or can we expect you for the whole stream? I really thought I would be singing the anthem. Yeah, I'm not much of a singer, sadly. You know, I used to live in China, and the Chinese people are very big on singing and karaoke and that kind of thing. I was teaching at a university for a while, and a bunch of my students nagged me to sing a song. And I finally relented after many naggings, and I sung the first song which I thought of, which was the New Zealand national anthem, and they never asked me to sing again. So there you go. Pieman asks, have we got any French fans in the crowd? There will be some, I'm sure. Elleran's got the ABs running away with this one. Atlas, did I see Georgia versus the Cheetahs score? I did. I haven't seen any of the game, but I did see the score. That national anthem for New Zealand has to be the worst rendition ever. It can be sung better if it is sung a little bit more, like a little bit more upbeat, if that makes sense. They tend to sing it quite slow, and it kind of sucks. Howdy, Alaran, man. How's it going? And Jezza does have the park run on. Looks like it's Kamate for today's haka. Nate says, let's go, boys. Big Jim feeling it. I think the All Blacks are going to do better than last week. Despite the Wellington factor, I feel like we will be better. I'll be surprised if it's not a bigger margin than last week. But who knows? Ian reckons it's 30 plus points or more. I think South Africa, mate, New Zealand are expected to perform better than last week. Expectations are kind of high. TSN just came on Hollywood. Well, that's good. At least they got coverage going. You'll notice from the wide shot of the ground, if you are watching the live footage, the match ground is very much an oval, and rugby is played in a rectangle. So even if you're in row number 1, you are still miles from the action in Wellington. That was my my impression of the ground the one time I attended a match there. Canada's hockey team lose a lot in Montreal like the ABs in Wellington. Maybe that's a thing. Bit of a cursed ground. Only won one since 2018 at this ground. France have never beaten the All Blacks in Wellington, played 7, lost 7. Well, there's two kind of opposing records up against each other for this one. We're about to have kickoff. I will let you know once it is kicked off on my end. There goes boot to ball, and for a 10-second marker, we are at 10 seconds now. They put the bloody timer up on the screen very late. Oh, first kick from the French is a wee bit of a peach. Rico not able to grab that one, so it's going to be a New Zealand line out slightly in their own half. Oh, goodness me. Rugby pass. Don't move, you bloody thing. Hold on a second. Up and under from Barrett. There it goes. Look at that. I fixed it. Barret's got a big old boot. If you haven't seen this French fullback before, Bodie takes his kick well enough. Oh. Out on the full from Bodie to start the game. It's not what we needed. That's not what we needed. Cheers has got Wales versus Japan on S4C, which is the Welsh language channel. I'm going to watch the second half of that match later, but I probably accept the fact that I will likely be spoiled to the result as this match continues. Deporteri is the New Zealand commentator's pronunciation of one of their midfielders. Terry. What can the French do here? They are phases, 5 of them within New Zealand's 22. Seven phases. We're under all the pressure once again. Same as last week. France scored first. Quick ball again. Oh, God. I don't think you need to keep quiet, Jezza, because honestly, if the result comes out, someone's going to tell me during the game anyway. So you might as well keep the score updated. I'll be keen to know. Wide ball to Gaiton, but he's taken. Goodness me, 12 phases, folks. It's all France. And it's just started raining here in Auckland too. Oh, Columbus lost it, but backwards. 14 phases. All Blacks have done well not to concede any penalties, and the French have actually knocked it on. Defensive shift from the ABs. Slight knock on from Colomb. Impressed with Fiji Hollywood? Yeah, man. They did very well. If you haven't seen that result, but it's a few hours old now. Three of theirs is a big lad. That's Georges Emery Colomb. Yeah, he's a big unit. He's a big old unit. He's not been in the best of form, though. So, yeah, he's under a bit of pressure in terms of his position. First scrum of the game. Me and Nisbo said it at the same time. Leo Willie picks it off the back. Roygaard's had to box kick it under a bit of pressure, but it's a decent enough exit. France have still got the ball in our half, though. Colombo's just big, never had any form. There are so many better French props. Sometimes big is enough. Yeah. I think they will be chuffed with that Jezza. It's not a bad start. And the All Blacks have stolen the line out too. We get a second bite at the cherry to get a decent exit going. Taylor's going to have a carry. We're already 5 minutes gone. Roygaard's going to box. And it's a pretty deep kick. Gaiton's going to have a weak carry. All right, French are back in their own half. How many phases until they kick? That's one. That's straight to the boot of Sigon. They don't want to play in their own half, folks. And Bodie's going to kick it back at them. Will Jordan's going to chase it. Bit too deep, yeah, but too shallow for Sigon to be the... Have the safety of his 22. Barret was just kind of charged down there. But it's a knock-on from the ABs. She's all on. Half of Tamiafuna's career is purely down to him being massive. Ben Tamiafuna is also a big unit. Very big unit. They didn't want him in New Zealand as an All Black because they think they wanted him to lose a bit of weight. But in France, they embraced his big bendness. 1,000 kg pack. I think, have they had a 1,000 kg pack at any point yet? Maybe not. I feel like I've seen it. But I have a terrible memory. De Groot is having to play halfback as the All Blacks have taken a quick line out. Savia has a carry into the 22. It's quick ball again. Vai, Newell, and it's Holland. How can I get Fletcher, Newell, and Fabian Holland mixed up? They are slightly different builds. Oh, the All Blacks have got advantage, and they will blow it up. Do they take the 3 in Wellington? They are going to opt for the 3. It is a slightly conservative, but maybe very respectful call from the ABs. I'm just going to write a wee note, so talk amongst yourselves for a second. Right, my note is complete until Bodie takes the shot. He's nailed it, so it is a 3-0 lead for the ABs. Nate says, always take the 3. Test match footy, eh? Take the 3. Colombe has beaten Leinster twice and scored a winning try. Yeah, he was, for La Rochelle. He was in cracking form for a while, wasn't he? I don't know. I just know, like De Groot, he's kind of been under a bit of pressure in terms of his position in the international scene. I feel like I'm as close to the game as some of the fans of that stadium are, Rooney. You're not wrong, man. The one time I went there was for the Bulls up against Hurricanes quarterfinal. Would that have been last year of Super Rugby? 2019, maybe? And I got front row ticket, row A or row 1 or whatever the hell it was. And I felt, Savia's just knocked it on. I felt like I was miles from the game, so far from the game. It was very upsetting compared to Hamilton, where you could take off your shoe and throw it at a player and hit them if you were in the front row. Jimmy hates caterpillar rucks and box kicks. Jimmy probably doesn't like modern test rugby. That's so much of what it is. At least the cheap chips and beer made it worth it. I seem to remember not buying any cheap chips or beer because I'm a cheap man. I would have bought stuff before or after the game. Kian, bro, I'm pretty good. Been watching rugby for the last few hours and still have a few more hours to go. Adam, Mark Talea is available for the ABs, but he is not selected because his impending move abroad, I think they've just decided not to invest any more time in him. They tend to do that, the ABs, unless you're a real special case. If you can't grief the line, why even go to the game? I know, right? My dad used to be the king of that, along with his Greek Cypriot mate. Bowden Parrott has put a very tasty looking kick through, which Barret has let roll into touch, about 5 meters out from the French line. So it's a bit of territorial pressure for the ABs. So far, so good. Have you got a Discord channel, Thomas? Quick line out throw from the French. I did for a while, but it got out of hand very quickly. I haven't logged in there for a couple of years. I think you need more people to moderate it to make it a good community, and I wasn't willing to sit there moderating people give each other shit about rugby. They've gone to quick lineouts already. Brent Evans coaching and Holland's height making a mess of their lineout. It'd be nice to see New Zealand have a nice, good defensive lineout. I mean, Viti's good in the lineout. Holland, such a big unit, so that's a mark for the French. Right. Big Paddy Tuipulotu just had a big carry. All Blacks are seemingly happy to just look for the wee dinking kicks through from Bodie thus far to keep the French guys pinned back. This one from Jordan. Atasogbe has just used his football skills to keep that one inside. It's a bit of a territorial win for the ABs. Geordie is so big, but I swear he gets folded like a lawn chair every test. Yeah, I think he's actually... I'm pretty tall. I'm like 6'4". I think he's taller than me. It's a pretty big guy. But you wouldn't say he's like the most physical midfielder in the world. Holy shit, here goes Roygaard! Roygaard! All that kicking from the ABs... Nobody knew what was happening there. What minute are we at? 13. What a little fake move. Oh my goodness, even I missed that. It looked like the forwards had it at the back going right. But it was Savia to Roygaard going left. Oh my goodness, what a play. He's kicked the conversion, so we are 10 points to nil. It's the opposite scoreline of last week. Jimmy reckons that's all the scouting. Well, they certainly made that one look good. First try of the game goes to Cam Roigard. Anybody have Cam Roigard as first try scorer? Frankie reckons Roigard's the best number 9 in world rugby. Interesting for you to say that as a Crusaders fan, Frankie. And I'm just talking shit because I remember you're not a Crusaders fan. But I remember I used to think you were a Crusaders fan because you live in Christchurch. My memory's bad, but not that bad. Makes you wonder if France's best chance of beating NZ was last week, Connor. Yeah, I feel like this week, as I said, pre-match is going to be more for the ABs. A lot of people mentioned the fact that if the All Blacks had got those 3 disallowed tries last week, then it would have been a bit of a blowout. Although, just adding an if statement before a lot of things can make a lot of things true, right? Freshman says, I think Geordie's being so lanky works against them sometimes. He's easier to tackle as opposed to someone opposed to like Almor or Tavatavanawa. Yeah, same with like a Laumapa. Yeah, he was just like a ball of meat. It was just able to penetrate through compared to, like you say, a bit of a lankier guy whose weight is there, but it's spread out a bit more. That's why you find a lot of locks. The big, tall ones really struggle to get over the advantage line. Cheers, Frankie. Sorry, I didn't mean to play around. I just still find myself giving myself a little bit of shit in my head for forgetting stuff. But cheers, man. Who are New Zealand playing next weekend, Jezza? We're playing France again. 3-test series against France. I know Ireland have got a couple of different opponents. South Africa are going to switch opponents. We'll start to see the Lions tests, but yeah, for New Zealand, it's 3-test series against France. Vodka or gin? This is just water at the moment, bro. I was on the drinks with my father-in-law again with the 60+% Chinese booze. But I do have some of this stuff again for when I feel the need to add a little bit of a tipple. Yeah, 3 games, Jezza. Indeed, 3 games. Thoughts on the Aussie New Zealand Invitational squad? It's a pretty good squad. Bench is looking a little bit lighter in depth, but it's just how well they can gel, in a week. My father-in-law's a bad influence. My father-in-law likes a drink. He basically drinks with his dinner every day. And the booze we're drinking is like 62% alcohol, so it doesn't take much. Wales getting undeserved matches against New Zealand and South Africa. It is interesting that New Zealand and South Africa are both playing Wales at the end of the year. Those, at the moment, seem like real mismatches. Have I always gotten on well with the in-law Stalio? No. Oh, here we go. Was that pass forward? Oh, Ligerat can't quite find his man, but was that backwards off the AB's hands? They're still playing. Oh, man, that was a whole bit of helter-skelter play. We're going to have a TMO look. Potentially deliberate knock-on. I don't know that you can... I don't know... Like, I mean, it's hit his hand. Okay, not clearing obviously forward. Oh my goodness, I'm surprised. Oh, we are getting a deliberate knock. I thought he said it wasn't clearing obviously forward. Fuck, I hate deliberate knock-ons. That's such a shitty rule. It's such a shit rule. Anyway. Anyway. That's... anyway. Seemed blatant to me, unfortunately, says Stalio. Yeah, I just don't like the law. If you stick a hand out, you're going to get yourself in trouble. The current way rugby is reffed. Ten points to 3. It's a crap law if you're not good enough to pass it beyond the defender. That's on you. I'm kind of with you on that one, Jimmy. But I think it comes from more sevens, doesn't it? Where they, I don't know. Jules, when's the Wales game on? It is on presently. I was watching it before this game started. They overlap. So the second half of the Wales-Japan game started about the same time as the first half of this game. But he wasn't even looking. I just don't like the law. I just don't like the law. Very concerning for Wales, Darmundi. Yeah. They could really, 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 really use a win. Hollywood says Wales are up by 2. They were ahead by a lot more. Halftime was 21-10. Same as last week. They were up 19-7. So second half seems to be the killer. I don't like the law if it's... I don't kind the law. It's cynical, says Nate. I understand the rugby deliberate knock-on law if it's like a slap, but more often than not, it's just a hand. But that's just the way they ref it, and the players know that. So anyway, me bitching about it ain't doing any good. It is what it is. I didn't like it for last week against the French either. Oh, Gracie's had an injury. I'm sorry to hear that, Grace. Hope your recovery goes well. Hey, Stevie boy from York, England, Kia kaha, ABs, Andy. Cheers, man. Hopefully the ABs go well. If it's a try-saving knock-on, it should be a penalty try. Yeah. I guess it's one of those ones where it's a fine line between what's like a slap, what's like a handout. It doesn't matter because the All Blacks have just scored anyway. All Blacks have been putting pressure on despite having 14 men. And Savia has just got himself over for a maul try over in the left corner. You could have forgiven the ABs for just taking the 3 and killing a minute of the yellow card. But short line out, no jump. Halftime with Gaza. Yes, Hollywood. Gaza is going to send me through a halftime score update. Ref update. Daramundi is using the try emoji. If you guys want to be channel members and get access to emojis and little stars and stuff, it costs a mere 99 cents. I believe 99 cents New Zealand as well. So it's not a lot per month. 17.3 by the way. If you want to support the channel, 99 cents. Become a member. Gazamania. Jez is using them as well. Look at that. Starleo reckons it's a 12 out of 20. I would probably put money on it being a 12 out of 20 right now. Yes, Grace, it was Bodie that got yellow carded for a deliberate knock on. He stuck his hand out and the ball hit it. 4.5 minutes left on his yellow. All Blacks need a nice clean exit after the try. Roygaard puts in the box kick, and it's a good kick about up to the halfway line. Happy days. 99 cents is like 1 American penny. 99 cents in New Zealand is not a lot in the rest of the world, I think. You could argue it's not a lot in New Zealand as well. And remember to like the stream, says Frankie. Yes, please. If you haven't liked the stream, you can do that too. That's a free option. Doesn't even cost 99 cents. There goes Colomb again. Gets brought to ground. And the All Blacks have won another penalty. Smash the like button, says Jezza. Thank you, mate. Appreciate all the reminders. New Zealand dollar is about half the value of the US dollar. It is indeed. Tends to be around about 50 cents. Was it like 70 or 80 cents Australian? Like 30 something pence? It's not a lot in the scheme of things. There's nearly 200 watching and only 1 and 8 hit the thumbs up. That is awkward, Connor. Although some people find it hard to do the like on the phone, apparently. I don't know. Anyway, if you can figure a way to like the stream, do us the favor. Right, All Blacks line out ball in France's half. Secured. You got Narawa playing halfback. He's having a wee snipe. He's not had enough carries for his game so far. Savia getting over the advantage line. Leo Willie with the support. It's quick ball. Narawa again playing halfback. Get out to your wingman. Where's Roygaard? Savia's playing halfback. There's Roygaard. Narawa sniping her on the ruck. No, what's not to like? I'd like to see Roygaard doing it and Narawa out on his wing. What can I say? Oh, that last offload wasn't on. All Blacks have just put themselves under all kinds of pressure here. Will Jordan's getting run down. I think he might have been tackled before he got a chance to get to his feet. And France have just won a penalty. And Ligaret goes quickly. Oh, who was that just got sat down? Proctor. Will Jordan's going to have to dot that down in the All Blacks goal area. Goodness me. Oh, Nilbog has become a channel member. Cheers, mate. Thank you for that. 99 cents. Oh, wow. We're going back for a dangerous tackle way back when the All Blacks had the ball. That's why Geordie's got a blood nose. It's, oh, he's been tipped. And he's got a head to the schnoz for his troubles as he hit the ground. And here comes the head. Oh, they cut away from it. Cheers, Nilbog. Connor, it would have been a man called Milo who gave you the membership. It's going to be a yellow card. They've given Brennan a yellow card for a tip tackle on Geordie Barrett, which was way back when the All Blacks had possession. Thought he was play acting for a second, but a headbutt to the ground would hurt. Yeah, blood coming out of his nose, I guess, is probably an indication that he genuinely took a bit of a head to his nose. Jack McHugh, bro, how's it going? Did you get up and watch the Scotland game, mate, or did you sleep through it? Otherwise, I'm going good. Nilbog's just become a channel member, so happy days. And it looks like Geordie needs to have an HIA. Is there a chance Francis Yellow could be upgraded to a red? I would say he doesn't get red. But stranger things have happened. Bro, Blacks have just got the maul going again. We're a maul team, folks. We love a maul. 14 against 14. Close range. Maul time. Cody Taylor. Taylor is over. Who's going to kick the conversion with Geordie and Bodie off? A spanking for the French, maybe, Big V8 show. I did think this one would be a little bit more emphatic, but there's still plenty of rugby to be played. You love a maul try, but your friend Tony, who hates South Africa, hates the maul try. I'd be interested to see what he says. Oh, Bodie is back on and he's missed the conversion. It'll be interesting to see if he likes the New Zealand maul tries, eh, mate? Yeah, Bodie is indeed back. What's the score between Wales and Japan? It was like 2-pointer before. Oh, France have secured the kickoff. Not what we wanted. Here we go. Guy Tom's just been put into touch. Leave Bodie off. We were doing better when he was binned. Nadawa with the covering tackle. Nice stuff, Imoni. Well done. Tony secretly hates rugby. He's a league guy. You might be right there. He just wants to secretly convert Union into league, doesn't he? All Blacks long line out. Tuipulotu's taking that one way at the back. Are we going to exit our own 22? Still 9 minutes to go in the half. 31-22 for Wales. Slump should end. Okay. I will... Oh, did Roygaard knock that on? No. God, it's a good kick. Oh, but he's just played the ball on the ground, so he's considered a penalty. There are people who like league. Yes, there are. Try going to Australia. There's lots of them. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. They can have a parade when they turn home. It'll at least be a little bit of pressure off. As he just kicked it dead. Oh my goodness, France. Yellow card's going to remain a yellow card. What a stinker. You're not wrong. They needed that. I mean, they're 22-3 down. They could have used a nice wee attack before halftime. I went to a Rugby League Legends charity event yesterday and Graham Henry said up the wires. He's probably playing to the crowd, I bet. I think if Wales win, Mark, then they go back to 12th. They take that back from Japan. Up from 14th, if memory serves. League never really gets going. Every tackle ball carrier flops around the ground, says Hollywood. I was watching League with Tony the other day, and that's kind of what I said. I was like, I bet you he's going to run it. I bet you he's going to run it. I bet you he's going to run it. I bet you he's going to kick it. Like, I don't know why. I just find, and it's a fine if you like League. We all like different stuff. I just find League real samey. Maybe I just don't understand what I'm seeing. But I suppose it's got more variety to it than tennis, which is literally just hit the ball back and forth. But yeah, I don't know what it is. After watching rugby, I find it hard to get into League. I liked League when I was probably age like 8 through 12 or 13. It was my favorite sport to go and attend and watch on TV. But yeah, it just eventually changed back to Union. It just means some of the AB's attack looking very boxed. 2 passes and a grubber off second phase. They've been putting in quite a few effective kicks and getting some pay from the line-out drive, eh? So it's not exactly what you think when you think AB's attacking play, but the line-out trick play from the line-out was Roygaard's try was pretty sweet. Union is boring too. I'm sure there are things that League fans friggin' hate about Union as well. League is slightly better than that run it straight competition. That's true. At least it has a bit of kicking to it. I find League hard to watch because I see zero jeopardy or achievement when a try is scored. All the players look the same size. In rugby, most of the time, you can look at a guy and have a pretty good idea whether he's a forward or a back. You can probably tell a prop from a lock, but yeah, I don't really know what the difference is in League. But again, I don't follow the sport, so I'm speaking from a place of ignorance. Bro, that's Savia! Nisbet just got Savia confused with Tava. No, I guess I got Holland and Newell confused earlier, so I can't say nothing. Oh, here goes the offload again with the APs. Tupovati getting to ground early. Good stuff. Did I just suck my head as a hand under that ball? Anyway, goodness me. Savi with the initial break. Got rid of Segal. Who gets the ball? Roygaard, Ioane, Holland, Vai. My goodness. Roygaard. Who else did I say? Ioane, Holland, Vai. Try time. Holland is having an absolute cracking start to his All Blacks career. You're not wrong, Frankie. He's looking all right, isn't he? It's 29-3. During the yellow card as well. That's 12 points in the yellow card. It's a costly one for France. Jimmy has also reiterated Frankie's point about Fabian Holland taken to Test Match Rugby like a duck to water. And Kian also says we're punishing that yellow card. Indeed. Punished on both yellows. Underrated in New Zealand here. I thought it'd be closer than this. I thought this game would be further than the last one, but that wouldn't be saying, like, that's not a hell of a prediction because last week was much closer than expected. Yellow card made us mad. Yellow card made yellow card us made us mad. Yellow card you made us madder. There you go. Good to see Brendan living up to the family name with a yellow. There you go. Geordie's going to come back on, so Tava now will head off. Yes, Grace. It's just I think he's just passed. There's only a minute to go in the first half anyway. All Blacks have knocked it on before half-time, so we'll have one last scrum. Yesterday at a rugby event, Kieran Reid predicted we will win by 50. 50 would be impressive, but they're tracking for that kind of pace at the moment. The Wales-Japan match has ended. Wales beat the prediction. The prediction was like 5 points, I think. So well done, Wales. The losing run is now over. Are they going to boot it out? They're going to have a crack. They're on the halfway line. So that's Africa. France are getting their offload game going now. Here we go. All Blacks have won a turnover, though. Was that Billy Proctor? Oh, just kick it out, guys. Come on. Back back for the penalty. I think we can just kick it out. Wish he had access to Craven Week games. Been a good tourney this year so far, says Justin. Yeah, no, I don't think they broadcast any of those games here. John says halftime few for a 15-minute lap after being up since before 4 a.m. You must have been watching the Scotland game in the UK or something, were you? It's me during Six Nations time. It is halftime. Expect my dad to send messages any second. "12 out of 20 from Gaza," reckons Jimmy. Let's see what he sends through. There is a lot of rugby to watch. I'm probably going to watch the end of the Wales-Japan game and then the Lions game. Then I'm going to have a sleep and then avoid spoilers for South Africa, Italy, and watch that one when I get up tomorrow morning. I would be surprised if it's the kind of game you need to avoid massive spoilers for, though. Why did France change their team? I think because Fabien Galtier said the guys were tired and whatnot. And they had a bunch of guys come over from France, so they wanted to give them a crack. Right. Here is my father.
Right, well, that's a pretty good display by the All Blacks. You'll get to the ref. Well, you know, what do you think?
13?
The Dirty dozen out of 20.
12.
Right? I'll back that up too. Because the yellow card on Bowden Barrett, ridiculous. The reason why, when Paul Williams had a similar situation in the New South Wales Lions game last week, it resulted in a penalty. Okay? So that's the reason for that. Overall, he's not bad. And the French are committing quite a few indiscretions. Now, the second thing, George Brisnahan, whatever his name is, the bloody idol of playing for France. Well, I'm afraid this would have been close to a red with his head into Geordie Barrett after that tackle. So my view on that, it was a yellow and it's very close to a red, and he might be yet visiting in the judiciary. He's bloody lucky to stay on the field. It could have been a red. And whether you agree with that or not, I don't mind, because that's just my opinion. But the fact he put his head into him after the tackle, it's close to a red. If he hadn't put his head in after the tackle, yellow, okay. The other thing we need to do with this law, and how many times have I said this, Mark? Bloody World Rugby need to leave it to the discretions of the referee of when there's a knock ball. Is it accidental, reckless, dangerous, or on purpose? Now, if you can't tell the difference between that, between a TMO, a linesman, and a referee, well, I'm afraid to say he shouldn't be on the bloody field, right? We'll leave it at that. Yeah, well, the All Blacks are playing some pretty dynamic rugby, and I just hope in the second half they don't go into their shell. I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing, and the French have given away a shitload of penalties. I don't know what the hell they're doing at the breakdown, but the referee's pinging them, and I respect him for that. Is he a good referee? Well, he's better. This is one of his better games, and I've seen him quite a few times. I usually rate him as pedantic, but today I'll rate him as adequate.
Adequate. There you go.
Well, that's the least I'll say about that. But the All Blacks are playing well, and the French, well, they seem to have gone into their shell a bit. Nothing like they were last week. I thought this team would play a lot better unless they have a miraculous 7.5 comeback. Well, Fabien Galtier ain't going to be a very happy man, and all the French people. Yeah, last but not least, everybody's having a good game for the All Blacks. The French, well, they need to tie up the loose play, the breakdown play, and they're giving away too many balls at the line out. Their scrum, well, there hasn't been that many scrums, but they're doing okay there. I thought with 10 changes they'd be a lot better than what they are. But I don't want to speak too soon because we know they can make miraculous comebacks if the All Blacks go to sleep. I still think the All Blacks will win, but, you know, we don't want a second half. We want an 80-minute effort. Put these guys away and put Fabian back in Paris. Hey, yeah. Keep supporting Mark on his channel, guys. He's doing a good job. Keep subscribing to him and become a member.
There you go.
And we'll give you a full-time report in 45 minutes. Gazelmania, Roger Mania, out 5.
Even Gaza thinks you should become a member. Look at that. Gaza with his 12 out of 20. Adequate is what he said. He's right. The penalty count is 2-7, although each side's had one yellow card. So, yeah. It's been a pretty lopsided count in that regard. What were some of the comments? He's hilarious. He can be. Andrew reckons he loves that he's unbiased, that he gives him a 12 out of 20 regardless of how the All Blacks are doing. I thought he was going to give 13, partly because the All Blacks were ahead, but nope, he has kept it very fair. Someone mentioned Galtier is trying to, at least targeting Eden Park. That might be difficult because the third game is not at Eden Park, it's in Hamilton, where they are not planning on staying France because they said there's not much to do in Hamilton, so they're going to base themselves elsewhere. France with a 57% line-out percentage. Is it really that low? Yeah, you're right. It is. That is pretty terrible. 4 out of 7. 4 out of 7. The All Blacks are 11 from 11. Yeah. Got to watch that Fiji game. It was definitely worth a look, for sure. And yes, Dalio is not the first guy to decide not to spend more time in Hamilton, but that is the verdict. Wings have been really quiet. Let's have a look. How much have they had in the ways it carries? Nadawa's had 6, but at least a couple of those were from halfback. And Ioane's had 3. The top meter guys for the All Blacks are Roygaard and Savia. Nadawa is 3rd with 33. Ioane has had 9, which is not a heck of a lot, but even Will Jordan's only had 15. Why is the third test not in Auckland? They have got the Springboks in Auckland this year. They try to divvy up the games around different venues around New Zealand. So they tend to play at least one rugby championship match in Auckland. I would say they usually go with one July test match in Auckland too, but not this year. I forget whether we've got the Wallabies in Auckland too or not. Where are we playing the Wallabies? Eden Park. That'll be why. So yeah, 2 rugby championship fixtures at Eden Park. That'll be why. Randy reckons Roygaard is currently the best 9 in the world. It's pretty bold, but he's having a pretty good game tonight. Nadawa does look to be hunting for work. I think he figures he wasn't even supposed to be named, so he better do something, eh? Did you see the Japan versus Wales score? I watched the entire first half, and I've not seen the second half because I've been watching this game, although I have seen the final result, yes. Noda was a far better prospect going forward than Reese with his old slow legs. Bro, you know me now. I've kind of written off Sevu Reese, so I'm quite happy for Imoni Narawa to get a crack. Reese is 28. Narawa's 25. Reese is at that age where All Blacks wingers tend to get cast off, so let's cast them off. Oh my God, Israel Dag is such a dick. He's doing the TAB hype train, which is his job, which is his employment. That is his way of making money. I just think he looks like a dick when he does it. What can I say? I'm a guy sitting here in front of a whiteboard. So, yeah, a bit rich of me. Yeah, Sever Reese might be your age, Randy, but I don't think you have to avoided convictions because you're a rugby player. So I'm sure you're a better fella. What can I say? And yeah, Reese is out with the HIA. That's exactly right, Frankie. Exactly right. Tony is probably not watching because Tony in recent times has been doing the old phone call thing, making a wee appearance at halftime. But no, he's not phone called through. So I assume he is. I assume he's not watching it. He'll probably watch it later. Maybe he is. Nate just feels bad for Dag. Why do you feel bad for him? He's got a good job. He's on TV. Bonjour, says Matt. Bonjour, mate, or bonsoir. No trivia. All right. One of the more common questions I've seen recently are who are some of the guys who've played for the Lions and played against the Lions? I know a few of them off the top of my head. Who have you guys got? Race is watching from Bali. How's it going in Bali? James Lowe says Stalio. Yep, Māori All Blacks and Lions. Who else? Played for and against, yes. Gatland. Gatland's coached the Lions. I don't know that he ever played for the Lions. Did Mac Hansen ever play against the Lions? Marcus Smith. That's not one I've heard before. When did he play against the Lions? Most of the guys who played against the Lions played against them like for the Barbars. But there are a few other guys as well. James Lowe's the obvious one. I believe Elliot Daly is one because I think he played for the Barbars against the Lions. I think Ricky Flutie is another one. But yeah, there's a handful. Not a heck of a lot. Ricky Flutie, there you go. Coach must be close. Yeah, something like that. Mark, you're going to see Superman. David, you know, I am kind of sick of superhero movies. I watched the first few of the old Marvel movies way back in the day. I remember seeing the first Iron Man, the first Captain America, the first Hulk. And then I basically got sick of them and didn't watch a Marvel movie for like a decade. And then we got Disney Plus 1 month and binge watched all of them. And I think that's pretty much enough for a lifetime, but at least for a while. I don't need to see any more for a while. Like I felt bad because when everyone else was on the Avengers hype train, I just hadn't kept up with it. I did eventually go and watch all the Avengers ones, but yeah. Samoa versus Scotland Eden Park next week. Yeah, it is, Adam. Should be a really interesting one. We don't get to see Scotland play at Eden Park very often. Which rugby player has the most tests without scoring a try? It has to be a front rower. Owen Franks. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. Well done. Oh, Milo! Connor was talking about you because you gifted him a membership before. He didn't know who it was, and I said it was a guy named Milo. He said thank him if he's here, but you weren't here. How many likes have we got? We're at how many viewers? 200 odd. How many viewers do we have? I fear Scotland, Samoa, Eden Park might be pretty empty. I think it's a double header with some classic match though, right? So maybe they'll get some bums on seats. Second half is about to get underway, folks. 276 watching. Can we get anywhere near as many likes as that? Nice to have a scrum half who isn't wanting to kick it every third phase. Let's have a look. Cam Roigard has 6 carries and 6 kicks. So it's a perfect 50-50 balance from him. Those streaming sites are a pain. I was like 5 minutes behind and it kept refreshing 33 minutes. Oh, that's a bugger. I had to watch Fiji against Scotland on a dodgy stream, but it was perfect. I turned it on and it ran perfectly the whole time. If only every dodgy stream was like that. Probably I'm not going to live stream the Lions game, Declan, because my wife will want to go to bed. And I will be disturbing her if I'm sitting here yapping for 2 hours. Have I seen the Japan versus Wales score? I have. I watched the first half of the match and then watched the score tick along while watching this game. Goodness me, Kian, £9.99. Seen a video recently, New Zealand and Aussie media's complained that Aussies and Kiwis play for the Lions when they're not British, even though eligible. In my opinion, New Zealand and Australia, South Africa should have kept them then. Cheers, man. That is a bit of a hot button issue. That definitely is a bit of a hot button issue. It seems to be purely down to personal preference. Some people would argue that you should pick the best players available. So guys like James Lowe, James Gibson Park, Duan van der Merwe, these guys all get Mac Hansen. These guys all get caps with the Lions. And then other people would say that deprives someone who's, and I guess that's going to be more meaningful for, of that chance to represent the Lions. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt a guy like Bundy Aki dreamed of being a Lion when he was growing up, but then who's to say it doesn't mean more to him now than it does to someone locally? It's just one of those hot button topics, eh? What's his name? Tony. He definitely doesn't like the kind of foreign Lions thing, but yeah, I'm not sure what it's like in terms of year by year, whether those numbers are kind of going up or down. Scotland haven't played the ABs in New Zealand for 25 years. We tend to only invite France, England, Wales, and Ireland to New Zealand for July tests. We've had the odd game against the Pacific team. We played Tonga during COVID. But we don't invite many other teams in that. Basically the big money-making teams. Italy, when was the last time they came over? I saw Italy play here in the World Cup, but they weren't invited like for a tour. It was just a World Cup. Am I doing this for the Lions game too? Oh, and probably not. That game kicks off at like, I think 10 p.m. my time. I'll be up till midnight doing this, and my missus will be over there somewhere. So she's probably not going to want to listen to me yap on for rugby for 2 hours. Have I ever been to the Kaiiwi Lakes, Randy? I don't know where the Kaiiwi Lakes are. Sadly. Here goes my ignorance on display. Should the July tours not maybe be first test each against the Six Nations team, the North can play the representative of Fiji? It would make sense to have some kind of structure to it, Frankie, but it seems to be just largely by invitation and negotiation at the moment, eh? Which is why I found all the hubbub about France sending a B team such a peculiar one. As I've said dozens of times, because France always sends a B team, and New Zealand rugby was surely aware of that. And yet they still negotiated and agreed for them to come down this July, knowing that it would be not a full-strength team, unless they're morons, because it's always a B team in July for France. There we go. France have brought on the forwards, and they've got some advantage from a line-out maul. They can have a spin with a bit of a free hand. Slow ball for Ligorek. I would understand the moaning and groaning about the B team if they can blame when the fixtures were set up. Complaining about it now shows they didn't pay attention to anything outside of New Zealand. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. They invited them knowing what they were going to get and yet still bitched about it, which is what I don't get. Intercept from Ioane. Saves a try for sure. Oh my goodness. Had advantage anyway. Long advantage. Oh, they're going to go advantage over. That was ages ago. That would have been too long an advantage. Kaiwi Lakes are up north on the west coast, Grace. Thank you for the tip. I was up north earlier this week. I was up, but only as far as Paihia. France need to get a try now to make this game more interesting. They might just get it. Barlow. They're 2 meters out, the French. They're on the goal line. It's 2 phases. Here goes. Was that tough for Fanua? Oh. Newell couldn't get out of there, so he gets pinged. Looks like they got numbers left, France. Surely spin it. Going up the guts. There's a big gap. Barre gets the try. Well worked. Well worked. That was coming. France have scored their first try of the game. That was coming. They had space to the left. France playing their second and third string will benefit them. It's certainly experience for these guys, eh? Am I watching on Sky Sports, Neil? Yes, Sky Sports here in New Zealand. Here goes Lyric Garrick in the Wellington Wind, and he's nailed the kick. So it is 29-10. Perfect start from France for the half. Big comeback. It'd have to be a hell of a comeback, but so far so good. Like Randy says, Astoy with a nice pass. Oh, we're thrashing them, says Grant. Well, they just scored. It was 29-3, mate. Now it's 29-10. French 15 is a big guy all around. Yeah, man. Leo Barre. He is a big dude. Big dude with a big old boot. Oh, man. That kick from the All Blacks has just gone dead. But Geordie Barrett wasn't too far away from grounding that. Did you see the Dan Carter documentary on Amazon talk about how the French were such a foil to New Zealand in the World Cup? No, I didn't. I've seen a few of those documentaries. Richie's one, Dan's one, but I can't remember that. So glad we had to hear a week of everyone and their granny talking about New Zealand being bad now. I do find that stuff weird about like, oh, New Zealand rugby's fallen off a cliff when we're like literally the number 2 in the world. But anyway, people like drama. Are you thinking of selling some of your rugby shirts online, Neil? I had thought about it. To be honest, a lot of the shirts were sent to me, so it might be a bit rude if I sold them. Tupavai with the turnover. That changes a bit of momentum. The All Blacks have been on the back foot for the first 10 minutes of this half. Tossi is on. Yep. So is, what's the other prop's name? The Chiefs guy. God, I can't think of it. Mind blank. Someone will tell me. Josh Lord. Ollie Norris. That's the guy. Thank you, Alaran. Auction them for charity, though, but I need them to wear them in the videos. Thank you, Nate. Indeed, Ollie Norris. That's the guy. Here we go. Atis Sogbe has just shut down Will Jordan. We haven't seen as much of Will Jordan in open space as we would have liked this week, eh? Dipoteri. I love how they call him Dipoteri. I don't think it's Dipoteri, but they keep calling him Dipoteri. And he keeps calling somebody Segon, but I'm pretty sure Segons went off when Hastoi came on. So, anyway. Mark, is Paramount Plus a thing in New Zealand? I don't think so. Here we have Amazon, Netflix, Disney, a local one, which is called something. It's owned by Sky. I can't remember what it is. Will Jordan has been kept quite quiet today. It does feel like it, eh? There goes Will Jordan. He just got smashed as well. Here goes Rico with a sniper as the French are offside. Quick hands. Go wide, Xavier. Bro. I don't think that was the pass. Oh, man. That's a blown opportunity. That was looking golden. Which team has the best strength and depth these days? I'd say the Box, but England doing a decent job with the second string. Yeah, the Box tend to pick a pretty deep squad in recent times. For a while, they were very loath to change things up. The French certainly always send a very different team in July, but it's almost like they have two separate teams at times. The All Blacks are kind of in the middle. England, like you say, they do a bit of rotation. Ireland are a little bit more conservative with their picks. They don't blood as many new guys. They keep a lot of the veterans around a bit longer. But they've got a good chance with the Lions to blood a bunch of new guys. They did against Georgia, and they're doing it against Portugal too. Oh, Proctor is so close. Regard right. Will Jordan, another one for Will Jordan. We were just talking about him not having that many opportunities. Goodness gracious me. You might as well just put a bet on with that guy as the anytime try scorer. Bloody hell. Will Jordan. It is 34-10 with a conversion to come. That was pretty slick. 36-10. It's looking pretty emphatic at the moment. Can someone explain to me why the All Blacks make such bad decisions at penalty time? You have dominant line out in this game. Instead of sticking it in the corner, you go for a quick tap. Yeah, I guess it's a hard one to criticize at the moment at 36-10. Do you see a French comeback or at least closing the gap? Kia, not really, unless the All Blacks take the foot off the gas. Karifi's getting a decent run, eh? Yeah, he'll get 25 minutes. Deporteri, says Grant Nisbet. Kiwi commentators are the most biased in world rugby? I don't think so. I think the Aussies have actually got us there. Justin Harrison is about as one-eyed as it gets. Morgan Turanui is pretty impartial for an Aussie guy. I quite like his commentary, but generally the Aussie commentators back the Aussie guys. Stalio just says, Morgan Turanui is very good, though. I'm 100% in agreement with that. He often has to explain the laws to his fellow commentators who just can't accept it. Right, French 5-meter tap. The forwards are going close. Is he held up? He's held up. It's the desperation defense we wanted to see. William reckons the English commentator's the worst. Aussie commentator hurts my ears. Nate says that as an American as well, so he's neutral in this one. Personally, do you think it's fair for Fabian to be forced to pick a B or C team for the July test through player welfare rules? I mean, it's just one of those ones where it is what it is. We don't have a global calendar for rugby. where everything is aligned. It's better than it used to be, but everyone's looking out for their own interests. So unless they can get a more well-aligned calendar, it just is what it is. I don't think Fabian cares that much. That's a good chance for him to play as depth guys, eh? Not the English commentators, the English press is the worst. The English press is genuinely quite bad. They seem to be always out for blood. They're either super arrogant or super critical. But the New Zealand press is not much better. We can be pretty arrogant or also just super critical. Thing is with the French is they have a huge TV deal and money talks. Exactly. Everyone's got their own interests, so yeah. Yep, good turnover from the ABs. Proctor with a good read. French attacking scrum. Boom, big hit. Proctor on to Sogbe. Massive. English press hates English rugby. It is a bizarre one, Nilbog, mate. Flo is making me see a Pampers commercial. Is it that they stop the game for it, or do they just do it around the borders of the screen? Because I keep getting Toyota Hiluxes. We're almost at an hour. Artie Sogbe's just taking a beautiful high ball, though. Do you think the Frenchies could see their top forcing calendar revised to see better international windows? I don't think they want to touch nothing. It would take some serious convincing to see their calendar changed. They do it on the side and override the audio. Overriding the audio is quite annoying. We don't get the overridden audio. If you're paying for that service, you shouldn't be subjected to ads like that. It's kind of bullshit. Did I see the Wales game? I saw the first half, mate, but I haven't seen the second because they kind of overlap with this All Blacks game. Top 14 is more important to the French. Exactly it. Finau's on for two, Pelotu. I guess that means Vai's going in the second row. Oh, loose bouncing ball. Rico pounces on it. Roygaard's got it. Nada was having a run. French couldn't quite mark that kick through, so they're under all kinds of pressure here. Roygaard tries to snipe, but he gets bashed. Someone's going for a burrow. Was that Tossie? Quick ball. They go reverse direction. He has a wee step, doesn't opt for the upload, takes it to ground. More quick ball. Come on, lads. It's a bit too slow. Hits Duplessis with the behind the back pass to Geordie, who gets it to Rico. Try time, Rico out on the wing. 40 points up for the ABs. I'm just writing a wee note. Roygard to Dupes to Geordie Barrett to Rico. Try time and 40 points up. Wonder what people are going to say about Razor this week. Well, it wasn't pretty marked, but they got a win. Well done, mate. Time to celebrate. The run stops at 18 for Wales. And the All Blacks are up by 31 points, so it's time to celebrate. Oh, he's taking a knee to the head. Who's more dangerous on broken play, the ABs or Fiji? If you've seen the way Waningolo is playing for Fiji, you'd be hard to say anybody but that guy. Does Sky Sport offer wider angles of gameplay or just standard broadcast? I'm pretty sure it's just standard broadcast. I do think they have two options with an English one and a Māori one for this broadcast, though. I don't think you can choose your own camera angles and stuff. Bodie's conversion just sneaks in. It's 43 to 10, and there's that Toyota. Yeah, Tupavai had to go off after getting a knock to his head by Wokie's knee. Totally incidental, but didn't look pleasant. Ratima's on. France have just conceded a penalty for going off their feet. What happened to NZR Plus? I think it's still there, David. They're just not putting much content on it. At least I haven't logged in for ages. I did a bit of work for them last season with Super Rugby, and we were maybe going to do some work this year, but they decided not to. But then they were also having a lot of cutbacks with New Zealand Rugby, so they were probably tightening the purse strings. Didn't want to pay me the big bucks. I understand. Odd minutes to go. I think the scoreline is enough to keep the media at bay for a week. What do you reckon? Is the Māori language actively spoken in New Zealand? If so, why don't the All Blacks use it for calls so other teams can't sell what they're saying? Interestingly, Nathan, for the vast majority of my life growing up in New Zealand, I never heard Māori spoken except for in Māori specific situations like on a marae or at like a pōwhiri, like a welcome or something. But recently, I would say in the last 10 years, I have seen a lot more parents speaking to their children in Māori, but that is the main context I hear it in everyday life. But I would still say the vast majority of the All Blacks players don't speak conversational Māori, the majority. Wholesale changes, you reckon, next week? Yeah, the All Blacks can afford to maybe make a few changes now that the series, barring a miracle of all miracles, is in the bag here. I've never heard casual Māori conversation down at the supermarket. Yeah, I've never really heard like two adults speaking it to each other just in passing. This is in Auckland. But as I said, I've heard it in multi-specific situations and a lot of more recently parents to kids. So if the parents to kids things keep going, maybe the next step is that you'll hear it more kind of every day. Got to go. Cheers for the stream. But good morning so far. Cheers for becoming the only channel member, new channel member of this stream. Cheers, Nilbog. A whole 99 cents. Didn't TJ speak Māori? I believe he speaks a bit of Māori. I don't know that he's fluent. The last couple of times I've been to New Zealand, 2015, 2020, it's not as well openly spoken around it as comparison to the first time we went in 2008. I do think it's having a bit of a renaissance in terms of how much it's spoken. I had to watch the Wales game in Welsh and didn't understand a word despite being from Wales, the other end of the spectrum. Isn't case try? Case, that's one of the words, isn't it? Even I've watched a bit of the old S4C. Is there a big push to revive the Māori language? I think there's a push to use it more, for sure. My family use Māori words in general conversation. The main ones I would hear would be mahi, like work. You got to do the mahi. And kia ora obviously is hello. Those would be the main two. I never knew how I don't know how to feel about using a single Māori word in a whole English sentence. Like, it used to drive me nuts when I lived in China, when there'd be a Chinese sentence, like they would just pick one English word to adopt it because that English word sounded cool. Like fighting. They used to always add the word fighting into a sentence. And it didn't even mean fighting, it meant like try your best. Or fashion. To be used to mean fashionable. It used to drive me nuts. There'd be Chinese, 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 Chinese fashion. Like, that's very, very fashion. It used to annoy me. Oh, Will Jordan, you're silky. How the hell did Will Jordan escape that? That was a very similar situation to the French who put in earlier. A kick through just too deep to mark, but he was so elusive he couldn't get caught. All Blacks have just put a boot through. It's awkward enough that Astoy's going to dot it down. Do they teach Māori as a second language at school? They taught it very briefly when I was a child. I would imagine they teach it a lot more now, but not enough to make my kids conversational anyway. South Africans do an insane amount of mixing in all our languages in conversation. I guess that makes sense given they're all kind of active languages. In China, using the English was just a fashion thing. Anyway. Oh, Grant, are you using traditional characters? 法国 What? 今天有比赛吗? Fighting, yeah. Is that 法国队? Tuan? Can't read traditional very well, but yes. Grant's using a perfect example of how they use fighting in a sentence. Dui, it is Dui. Okay, team. That's quite different from the simplified version. Why does all the New Zealand media say Aotearoa time? I've never heard Aotearoa time. Oh, the motu is the other one they like to say. Like the island. Anyway, we've been talking a lot about Māori. It means this game is very much in the bag. Always good to beat the French, but beating the English would be better, and the ultimate would be the Wallabies beating you Kiwis, says Ian. You guys got the Lions to worry about first, mate. When is the first Lions test? This time next week, kind of like in a couple of hours. Like, so, yeah. Whatever time the AU team is playing next week, kind of. What other sports do I follow, Quasi? I used to follow cricket, but we're talking decades ago now. As a kid, I used to follow rugby league. And in my recent years, I've followed a bit of ice hockey, weirdly enough. What do you think of Hong Kong making the World Cup? It's a massive first for them. They've always been around the repechage, but actually made it to the tournament proper. As an Italian fan here, come on, ABs, another 14 points, please. This might be the final score, I reckon. Maybe we'll see. There's an Australian Aboriginal languages aren't really taught outside of Aboriginal groups. How different are the Australian Aboriginal languages, though? Like Māori, whilst there's like different, like there is differences depending on where you learn it from, I still think it's mutually intelligible. Is Hong Kong mostly Chinese or Brits? It's all expats, I think, pretty much. Or, well, I say expats. They may have been Hong Kong born and raised, to be honest. But the names didn't look Cantonese, if that's what you're asking. What are we going to get from this match? We will go up to 91.72 if the score stays the same. The Boks are on 91.78. I don't think we're going to catch the Boks, eh? How good's Conor McDavid? He's pretty good, but he's lost 2 Stanley Cup finals in a row, which is pretty brutal. Tadeo's difference are almost like accents. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's still mutually intelligible. Vastly different, basically different languages, yeah. I guess it's harder to promote when it's so regional. Chinese can be a bit like that. The Chinese regional languages are all suffering. They're all getting replaced by Mandarin. Because Mandarin is the standard language which is spoken across the country and in all the schools and everything. Do we want France to get one more try? 73 minutes in. We need to get you some Kraken kit. Seattle Kraken. I'm more of an Islanders fan. I actually have a... Look at that. I even have an Islanders hat sitting here on the floor, of all teams. New York Islanders. Will we catch the Boks if we win next week? I don't think so. Because we're still a point behind and we are only getting like 0.7 from this game. So I don't think we're going to catch the Boks unless they lose. Which probably ain't going to happen. One of the French guys has gone down. Nothing much is... The game's kind of petered out a bit, folks, in the last few minutes. We have some good hockey sweaters, though. You gonna make me do this? I even have an Islanders jersey. I don't really wear it, though, because this thing is, like, uncomfortable. I don't wear it very often. It's very old now. I bought it in probably 2018, but I still have it. Oh, man. I think Tafa Fanua might have just gone over and scored, surely. Held up again. Māori is mostly the same. Depending on the iwi, they have different words for different things. Like my dad's kura school, one of the teachers called it a koka. The rest of us use fire. Similar to Chinese in some of the regional languages. Like where in Mandarin they say 吃 to mean eat, but where I lived in China they say 吃. So it's kind of similar. Yeah, DMAC just got flattened, didn't they? That's the ultimate Telfa Whenua up against DMAC. Five-minute line out, 4 minutes to go. Is anyone else shocked that Karifi and him aren't getting the turnovers? Yeah, we thought that would happen a lot more, eh? True. There you go. Grant reckons it's true. Hey, they got a try. France got a try. I love it when they don't have anything else to say about a player, but if they want to make a point, they'll just say where they were born. And the man born in Dublin goes over for the try. How long were you in China? About 7 years. Believe it or not, I actually have a second channel, a very small channel, called 2 Cents on Tour, where you can see me wandering around China and speaking to people in the Chinese language and going to some weird spots. My favorite video to make was the one which is called Would You Follow This Lady Into Oncoming Traffic? Because some dodgy lady, I wanted to get into this university and it was closed to the public, but she said she could get me in. So I got on a bike, paid her some money, and she took me in the back way, but we had to ride bikes down this tunnel and there was like oncoming traffic going and it was nuts. It's a couple of years old now. 2 Cents on Tour. Plug in my own videos. There you go. Two Cents on Tour is greater than 2 Cents Rugby. Maybe. It may be higher quality content. It certainly takes me a lot longer to make a video for that than it does for this, because I have to actually get out and about instead of just sitting here in my room with my whiteboard and watching rugby. But there you go. Over here in South Africa, we have 12 official languages. In New Zealand, you're lucky if people can speak more than just English. Try time done. I don't know, that's a new username. How's it going since the demise of the Melbourne Rebels? I feel bad to ask that question. There's only 30 seconds left in this game. Do the All Blacks want to have the last say of the game? Sure they do. They want to get 50. Miserable speak. Apologies about that. The Hooter has just gone. The All Blacks are chasing one more. DMAC. Tapatanawai. Ratama has a wee snipe. But he's lost it forward. That's the game. 43 points to 17. Maybe more what was expected than last week. I think last week was 4 points. This week it's 43-17. I'm waiting for my dad's message to see what he has to say about that one. I still think he's going to give the referee a 12 out of 20, though, if I know my dad. Because that's pretty much his go-to. Penalty count felt a little bit high in that game. How many was it in the end? Penalty count. Yeah, 13 by France, 8 by New Zealand. So anytime you're plus 20 penalties in a game, it's quite a few. Is that enough to quieten down some of the critics, or do you think there'll still be some after that? I feel like it'll quieten down a fair bit. Watch New Zealand Herald rip into that performance despite the scoreline. They may well do, but there is, how would you say, there's like, being negative has, has a selling point, right? You can certainly attract interest by moaning about stuff. All right, here we go. Here's my dad.
Yeah, steady, stable, capable. Yeah, not an 80-minute display, but we're getting there. At least we're not as bad as what we were last year. And not finishing. We finished well in this game. We almost scored a full time. The French, well, they're not singing their bloody A team. Speaks for itself, and they should have said their 18.
We talked about this,
Gaza. No, the club's bloody control the French rugby, not the bloody world rugby.
There we go.
World rugby lack a bit of tea sometimes. They need to toughen up. That's what I got to say about that. Mr. Referee, well, his second half was not as good as his first half. His first half was good, great, but his second half, it's where the bloody 12 out of 20 comes. He was adequate, capable, solid, but I wouldn't give him any more than that, to be perfectly honest. Was he lucky to get that score? No, not really. He did a better job than Nick Berry. And we've gone over the cards. Well, Jordy Barrett would have been my man of the match, but it could have been any one of a number. But none of the Tawai did well. And now the All Blacks played badly. They just need to concentrate on their passes a bit more when they're throwing them in the back line. There was a couple that went over the sideline tonight, which they need to just sharpen up slightly. That's not really a criticism. That's just a practice bloody thing to do. Billy Proctor had a good game too. Fair. So nobody played badly for the All Blacks. Now, Tabu Vai went off. Yeah, that's a bit of a worry because
it means Vai.
He's not available next week. Well, we might be searching for another lock or two. And we've got them. So don't bloody worry about that, listeners. We've got the locks. Even if he's injured. Yeah, the French, well, I don't know why they made so many changes from last week. I mean, Fabian Garthy went really well last week. And these guys that came in tonight, well, they were average. They didn't put the world on fire. They tried hard and they substituted, but they just couldn't live with the All Blacks tonight. We outpaced them, outspirited them, and outsmarted them. And sending the BC team down here, well, that speaks for itself. What more can I say? Disappointing, disenchanting,
Come on, Gaza.
A few more words I could use, but I won't.
We just won 43-17.
We're going to get French rugby.
Where's the positivity?
It's French rugby strong. Regardless of this result, French rugby is strong. So, that's no criticism of their season. Is their season too long? It probably is, but it's none of our business. What they do is their business. So we stay out of it. And that's no criticism from me. That's just a fact of life. Yeah, well, I thought the All Blacks played pretty well for 70 minutes, and they finished well towards the end. And the conditions were pretty good. And I'm glad Wales beat Japan. I mean, their bloody loss of bloody 80 losses, so it's good to see them over with.
There you go,
As much as like
positivity.
Japan rugby, also like Wales, my ancestors. Hey, Mark. Yeah, so I enjoyed the game, and the Blackburns had a good one today too. They beat Australia 37-12, so congratulations to them as well. Okay, Gazamania, Roger Mania, out by.
Yeah, he doesn't seem all that positive. We can be a bit like that sometimes. I feel like he had a lot more to say about the game when it was a 4-pointer, but when it's like 43-17, it's just like there's less to talk about in a way, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's just the way it goes. But yeah, well done to the ABs. That'll quiet the critics for a week or two. We'll see how things go in Hamilton next week for the decider. Will the All Blacks ring the changes, or will they keep things pretty steady? I think it'll be middle ground. I think they'll make a few changes. Maybe some of the guys, maybe Karifi gets a start. He's been on the bench. Maybe D-Mac gets a start. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Will Jordan's leg still, like he's constantly got it strapped up, and we saw him kind of done for a little bit of pace in today's game. Might be good to see him get a bit of a rest. But anyway, you guys take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here. And yeah, there's a heap more rugby on. I'll be watching the Lions game against the Aussie New Zealand 15 next. Then I'll be having a sleep, get up early in the morning, watch South Africa delayed, then watch the Argentinians in the box. I'll finish off watching Wales and Japan. There's a ton of rugby to watch, but I'll be here watching it. So yeah, thank you guys, as I said, for being here. Take care of yourselves, and I will catch you guys again for another one soon. See ya.